Well, good evening and welcome to the Magnificent Mags channel. I just want to cover what I've watched back of that Brentford game, and at the moment, again, I thought we'd turn the corner with Liverpool with the draw Wednesday night. Again, not defensively. Now, I did praise players like Hall and Tino first half, yes, but second half, I wasn't saying it was a fantastic performance overall. Formidable. It was just they were brilliant first half. They were against a team like that, but yeah, you just thought, right, there's a marker for what level you need to reach. Can we go and do it again at a team like Brentford, despite the home record? But yeah, it's one step forward, two steps back at the moment, and Brentford get their first ever Premier League win over her. So yeah, getting into it, going into the GTEC Stadium unbeaten at home. They'd scored 22 goals before yesterday. Now it's 26, and it just feels like one step forward, two steps back. Great against Liverpool. Yes, defensively second half, I said formidable for Hall. Thought he was first half against someone like Salah. But yeah, his second half was poor Wednesday, and then he wasn't good yesterday. I mean, for that first goal, it's just, you think we've sorted the attack out, getting 3 against Liverpool and then 2 yesterday, but then we've conceded 4. Now our defence is bad, and Eddie Howe, he must be scratching his head. Because I know he has some responsibility for this. There's got to be some accountability, which there will be, but like, you can't account for all the individual errors. He's not the one on the pitch that caused them yesterday. I mean, the first share weak in the header, and then we lost 2 challenges, which was the theme of the game. They wanted it more. First ball, second ball, we just weren't strong enough in the tackle. Again, you're thinking, why did he drop Tonali out, even though he's fatigued? Tonali was great in the 6th the other night. But he brings Longstaff back in, which I don't think was the right call. Even if Tonali could have played a bit and then came on as a sub, went off as a sub later on, but it was the opposite way around. And yeah, it was just lost them 2 challenges, went over the cross, no one stopped the crossfield pass over to Mbeumo, and then you think, right, show him down the line because he's left-footed. Lewis Hall, for some reason, outside the box, stands off him, and then he's had his hands behind his back, and then just shows him inside, hoping he's going into traffic, but then Mbeumo with a brilliant finish for his 9th of the season across Pope into the back of the net. No stopping that. But we should have stopped it earlier. But then we'll go up the other end. We'll get with equaliser. Murphy, he got 2 assists yesterday. So yeah, he's limited, but he tries, and he done an all right shift. So he went for the shot, but then Isaac, bang in form. Getting his 7th, a great anticipating the header and right in the back of the net. So you're thinking, right, good, we're up and running. Then we went ahead, we controlled the game for the next 10 minutes. But then again, like Wednesday night, second half, where game management was poor, bad decision making. And then what Harvey Barnes was doing, just, yeah, you can't just, like I said, Eddie Howe can't be responsible for mistakes like that in the pitch. What Barnes is doing, playing it across the face of like his own defensive third, and it just went straight to Wissa. And then I saw on Match of the Day, Shearer were rightly pointed out, Burns saying push over, get closer to him, I'll fill in behind for any runners, but Cher just backs off, and then Wissa with his quality just puts it straight past Pope, and you're just thinking, God, you're scratching your head, because I was keeping up with it while I was out yesterday, and it's annoying, it's frustrating, but then you're like, but look, we've responded again, shown great character. We went up the other end. Murphy again, his first cross didn't come off. Then he's recycled it. He's went round his marker and got to the byline a bit, cut it back, and then Barnes atones for his error, which you've got to give him credit for, and puts in the bottom corner. You think, right, get in at half time, even if it's 2-2, that's good. Can we build on it second half? But then we didn't. Second half, you're hoping for better, but Jekyll and Hyde Newcastle come back again. We lost the challenge in in their defensive third where the right back was, and then they just attack with ease, no one challenging, and the warning sign was, the shot came in, deflected off Tino. Somehow Pope, without knowing it, done a great save, managed to push it onto the post, and we got it clear. Lo and behold, far too easy. They get a free kick, and Flecken puts it into the area, and Shaw badly again, it fell for all 4 goals. He just badly mistimes it. The ball falls straight through for Collins, and it's just an easy finish past Pope. But Joe Linton and Byrne were switched off, so they didn't track him. And you just, like, honestly, that it's just schoolboy errors. It like knocks the wind out your sails. Like the West Ham game, like, we've got momentum. couple of times, and both goals were just killers for her. And then 4-2, which killed the game off at the end, and just lazy pass from Tonali, straight in transition, one pass through. Shaw wasn't even aware that Mbeumo was there, and then that easy pass, like I said, to Shaw, and then he dinks it over Pope, and then it's just like, it feels like it's back to square one. So it is very, very frustrating at the moment, Newcastle. Like, watching it's honestly, you're like banging your head against the wall thinking we're just turned the corner, but then we're not. And you're just like, is it back to the drawing board? And yes, we have had chances as well. Like, obviously Murphy headed one over the bar, Tonali sent one over the bar. But I come back to decision making. Alexander Isak, when he got the ball and rounded Flecken, decided to take his time. I think he wanted to just walk it in, or have that extra touch and put it in. As soon as he rounded him, he could have just put it in that far corner. Even if the player cleared it off the line, still would have been a better opportunity, but he took too long and Flecken got back. So that was frustrating. It was just bad decision making, 4 goals. And yeah, that's just a fact. Yeah, but you can't question him for, there was fatigue, he said in his press conference on Friday, for players like Alexander Isak, Gordon and Tonali. But it's just like, why is Tonali play so well and then he's brought out the team for Longstaff? And well, Longstaff done all right for a bit. Again, Tonali deserves to be in there. Why didn't he just keep it as Joe Linton, Tonali, and then Bruno in that 8? It worked against Liverpool, so why can't it work against a team like Brentford? Like, they do score goals at home, but they concede. And that chance for Isak, like I said, could have put with 2-1 up, but decision making was bad. But he should have started Tonali. He should have started Gordon, unless they told them themselves they were fatigued. Then I can understand that, but it just feels like at the moment, is the squad unsettled? Does Eddie know his best team? These are things he has to be accountable for. Is there too much rotation? The player, because I'm all for like using your squad, but it has to be utilised at the right time. He should be keeping a settled 11, but at the moment it feels like he does know what his best team is, and that might be translating to the players. But as Bruno said, and he was accountable in his post-match interview, but he's one who didn't perform. And Eddie was on the touchline. I've seen it back at time. He was like geeing them on. So it's just like trying to give the players a lift. So yeah, it's just like, brutally honest. Yeah, we were a mess, and it is frustrating because we had such a good defence, scoring so many goals. 68 in the season, we finished 4th, and 85 last. And that's with loads of injuries. So you're thinking, what are the problems? But the players need to be accountable, like Eddie, for sorting it out on the pitch. Nick Pope, I mean, what was he doing with Mbeumo? Like, a player like that. And fortunately, like, I know the game was over, but still, Burn, obviously, you don't want to concede a 5th. You've got to think of your goal difference. You're not like, oh, well, we've lost anyway. It doesn't matter conceding. Great on Burn getting back, but he shouldn't need to be doing that. Nick Pope, honestly, again, bad with his feet. And it's just an absolute howler. I don't know what he was trying to do against a player like Mbeumo, because Mbeumo and Wissa at the moment, them two have the best conversion rate in the Premier League. And like I said, they're both on 9 goals. And so I've wrote a few things down because I couldn't remember them all off the top of my head. So I have a small little crib sheet here that I look down to and just read some things out. But just to put some things into context. So yeah, I'll go through these stats anyway. So yeah, we're 12th, 5 wins, 5 draws, 5 defeats after 15 games. I mean, yeah, talk about inconsistency or consistency. Is it consistency? 5-5-5? It could be. After 14 games last season, before pre-match yesterday, won 26 points. And before went into yesterday, in which we're still on now, on 20. So it's been a 6-point drop off. In the 15 games this season, we've conceded first 9 times. That's 60% of the games. We're just making it far too easy for teams. We've got 2 wins and 11. We're 17th in the form table. 10 points from 4 games we started the season off with. Now we've got 20 after 15. So yeah, that's just, we're getting 2.5 points a game when we started the season. Now we've got 20 after 15, which just, that's bad. Like, only 10 points from the last 11 games. That's relegation form. And yeah, but all I'll say is, yeah, it was good first half. It was an awful second, but that's now 7 goals conceded in 2 games. And the Champions League stat I've got, we're saying no Europe, not an excuse, but last season, after coming out of Champions League games, 23-24. We won 9 out of 12 after being in Champions League games. At the moment, I'm still Eddie Howe in, and there's lots of reasons for that. Now, he hasn't been backed in 2 windows. 8 of his current squad aren't his, so he's inherited players like Joe Linton, Sean Longstaff, Miggy, Murphy, Jamal Lascelles, Emil Kraft, Martin Dubravka, and certainly one more, can't remember. But yeah, he's inherited about 7 or 8 players from the previous regime. And look, he's a brilliant coach. We know that. He maximises what he can out of players. But I just think he's got them as far as he can, certain players. And when he's not being backed in 2 windows, he's got to take accountability of, as I've said, like, are the players tired? Is it the tactics? Do they feel he's out of ideas? Because I mean, he looked frustrated, but more with how we gave the manner of the goals away yesterday in his post-match interview. But then you're thinking he's not playing players like Tonali and that regularly. So what must they be thinking as an Italian international? What must he do to get in the team? So it could be that the players might be bored of that. Do they want a fresh face and fresh tactics? But it looked like they were fighting for him on Wednesday. So how do you legislate for yesterday? In a team who scored so many, but we've said some teams might have figured with tactics out, so is he too stubborn to change that? But again, I do need to say that it is a big collective responsibility at the club. You can't just get rid of a manager this quickly. Now, I know we think there has been a decline, certainly away from home in 18 months of not changing tactics. We said the other day things are going stale, but it comes from the top as well. It comes from the top. You've got to give him backing or what he's working with. Like, if you take Bruno, Isak, Gordon and Tonali out the team, and what kind of squad have we got, really? You could say it's probably a squad that would finish mid-table. Them players are who would elevate to, I think, a maximum of around 6th we can get. We're not getting Champions League. Forget about Champions League unless we go on a fantastic run. But with 2-11, bigger picture is just find a way to get back to winning ways. And so, but yeah, it's like we're certain players, when we're big players aren't performing, the rest are mid lower table players. Your Longstaffs, your Murphys, your Miggies, and that, your Crafts, your Lascelles, like when he's playing. So at the end of the day, when these big players aren't performing, we're really surprised to see we're down in 12th. And Eddie can only get so much out of them. Yeah, he can motivate them and that, but you can't just be calling for the manager to be sacked. Look, you don't want to go back and compare previous managers like Benitez or Pardew or Kinnear or McLaren or Bruce. But yeah, he's got to have accountability, but the players do as well. And so does the ownership at the top. So they've got to stop using, yes, PSR as a factor, but they've got to be clever. Look, if it means shifting someone on January, you've got to look to shift players. Can we sell a Longstaff? Can we sell a Miggy, a Murphy? But this comes back to Ashley as well. Like, where we are in terms of hitting this PSR ceiling, and I'm sick of hearing as much as the rest of it, but it's got to be a factor that, one, they've got to figure it out, but two, it is affecting where we've spent £500 million or whatever it is just to play catch up. But then when we're having to sell Elliot Anderson and Nkuba Minta, then where's the wiggle room? Like, that's just got we in the black, so we weren't getting a points deduction. And PIF aren't stupid. They're not going to get a club's value up to £1 billion, talk about new stadiums and all this. Let's be honest. If we broke any PSR rules and got a points deduction, the Premier League would want to make an example of it just because of the whole furore and bringing rules in and that. They would. They'd hit with them. The biggest points deduction wouldn't be 1-2 points, whatever it was, for Everton or Forest. They'd make an example of us. They're waiting to make an example of us. So yeah, PIF need to start putting the money where the mouth is, because the takeover momentum's worn off. Sorry, not weared off. That's not even a word. Worn off. Amanda and Murdad going. They were the face. They were the public speakers. PIF are like dragging the heels. It's been 15 months since the feasibility study. What's happening with that? Are we going to find anything out? Before the Christmas party on Friday night, we noticed, like, obviously the Labour club's going. That's moving in the city. A lot of houses are up for sale on St James's Terrace. Bark and Stonehouse going on the corner of Lees's Park Terrace. So little things we thought, is that a sign that they're slowly buying up things around there to expand? But again, it's 15 months since the study. It's going to go into January. We don't know what we're even going to hear. So there's that. It's been 3 months since Eels. Again, we're wishing well with his health problems. Just hope he's okay. But it's taken 3 months since he said he's stepping down. No replacement's been announced. So there's lots of factors at play here. Eels, we just need a new CEO in, because at the minute, like, there's no direction. There's been no signings in 2 windows. We need a new CEO because it feels like we've got no direction. There's no longer term strategy. With transfer policy, Mitchell's questioned it. Like, what's he doing since he came in to replace Ashworth, who, ironically, 4 months on garden leave, and today Man U have let him go. They said again, button heads, wanted Southgate or Howe in, and their board members, the team he was on, were overruling him. And again, like, it said he was button heads with Howe. People are saying he got some good signs here, but the way he left, I wouldn't want him back. So again, it's just like, Mitchell's come in, but what's he doing? Again, it just feels like you just don't know, do you? What's with transfer strategy? What's the direction the club's going in? It's all went a bit silent and fans are in the dark. And quite rightly, when you put all your money in, the whole new Adidas range, the new club store, stacked, all being great. But fans are investing a lot of money, so the right ass fan says. So you're just thinking, Eddie Howe can't be sacked at the moment while we're waiting for a new CEO, because again, it's just, I think there's an imbalance in the squad too. A decent squad, as I've said, but it's imbalanced in terms of age. So Pope's over 30, yeah, all right, it's young for a keeper. But then you've got Byrne, he's like mid-30s, you could say. Trippier is, Shaw is. So again, the fullbacks are young, they're still learning the trade. I don't think Eddie Howe should be sacked. Again, this is not happy clapping. Everyone's got to be accountable for this. But at the moment, who really is out there who's going to come in for him? And everyone's saying Mourinho, but I do think he's past it. Yeah, the Bobby Robson connection, but you can't just do sentimentality. You can't do sentimentality with Eddie Howe's past success with. He's got to a cup final, 4th, 7th last season. That does mean he's got a lot of credit in the bank, but you can't keep living on the past. You've got to worry about the here and now. So yeah, it's just a case of, I think we need a new CEO in, and the structure to be sound before they need to make decisions like that. But I'm also not stupid enough to know that it's a big remaining December for him. He's got to find a way to beat Leicester this coming Saturday. He's got to. And then Brentford's huge. If we go out the cup, pressure's really on. The cups are keeping our season alive. We've got to stay in the cups. Cups are keeping the goodwill on side with those who still want Howe in. But I'm just saying caution, careful what we wish for. Yes, we've dropped 5 points behind 6th, but 5 points isn't that much of a gap to bridge. But we've just got to start. We've got to just use these fixtures now. We've got to build momentum. We have to. There's no excuses. We've got to find a way. By hook or by crook, we've got to beat Leicester. We've got to beat Brentford in the cup. Then we've got to go to Ipswich and win there. Then we're a home game. We don't want to be kind Newcastle, giving them the first win like we've done to Derby in 07-08, their only win that season. And then we've got to beat Villa, because Villa are indifferent. They're suffering what we did, PSR. We've just got to start winning. We'll have to, because, well, I do think Howe needs to be given time and deserves January. And we need a CEO in place. I know it's a results business and you live and die by results, and it's the manager who goes. But yeah, to round up, I just think, does he know his best 11? Is he changing the team too much, not having a settled squad? All out ideas. But Wednesday showed I don't think he is, the way we played against Liverpool. Are the players tired? Lots of questions like this, but he just has to find a way to win these games, because, as I've said, our game management's been poor. We've been poor at scoring set pieces. We're poor at defending them. It's just too many misplaced passes. So yeah, it's a big December for Eddie coming up. But I just want to say I agree with Alan Shearer as well. I shared on the Facebook page earlier for the channel. He's right. There's an attitude problem as well. Like, why we're turning up against the Liverpool, yet we're coming stuck against the likes of Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, West Ham, Brighton, and now Brentford. It's just these teams, like Luton, you go back to Luton last season, were just bad. So we've got to find a way to put it right. He needs to get it right, because the noise will grow, impatience will grow. And while I back him for now, and like I said, I know he can be gone. It's results business. But anyway, that's enough from me. I'll be back later in the week with me pre-match video before the Leicester game at St James's Park. And everyone have a great week. And I'll be back before Leicester. Bye-bye.